Hello and welcome to another question of the week. Today, this is a question I was asked last week, but I wanted to go back to it, and it's a question on the pros and cons of healing in an expanded or an elongated state. A lot of people are very curious about this right now because of the SRT routine that a lot of men are following. SRT routine is my personal routine, and it puts as much effort into the healing portion of the penis enlargement routine as it does into the gaining. So there's pros and cons to healing in certain states. And some people get this confused, so I just wanted to go over a few things that you can do to enhance your gains during the healing process. So basically, after you're done doing like a girth workout, let's say you just did your pump workout or your girth workout, and you're in a expanded state, you're in a swollen state, your tissue's expanded, at that point, a lot of men will just go back into their underwear and put their clothes back on and go on with their day, and that's not a very smart use of that expansion. It makes a lot more sense that after you're done with that routine to put on a cock ring or some kind of way of holding that expansion for longer. And it even makes sense in this sense that if you would start to lose the expansion every hour, to go into the bathroom for a couple minutes, get some good expansion back in there and put the cock ring back on to keep yourself in that expanded state. The same thing applies to length. So if you get done doing your length work, you have an active length routine you're doing. In the portions where you're not training, or the passive portions of your routine, it's smart to keep yourself in an extended position. Whether you're doing that with like a size genetics extender, where you're keeping at a extended position that's not so much for intensity, but to train those gains to stay. Or even just using an ace bandage and doing the Uncle Jim strapping method, where it keeps the penis elongated after you're done with stretching. It makes a lot of sense, because if you are done training and let yourself turtle back up into your underwear, it's not really taking advantage of those gains. Healing is so important to the whole process. That's why eating right and sleeping right and taking proper supplements is right, the right thing to do. At the same time, doing a good PE routine is important, but at the same time, healing properly is just as important. So this also runs over into when men find themselves in positions where they have bad EQ or bad erection quality because they just got done doing their girth work, or they had a tremendous workout and now they're suffering in erection quality. This is also a point where if you are having erection quality issues temporarily because of the routine, it's a good time to get stretching in. So you can take advantage of those fatigue states. And again, it's sort of the opposite of the healing sense, but in this state, if your penis is very fatigued and you can't get a great erection, it's a great time to do some stretching, because your penis isn't going to hold back when you stretch, so you'll make better length gains. So I always advise to guys that, like, after you have sex or after you masturbate, and you're in that natural state of refraction where you just can't get an erection right now, it's a perfect time to stretch. So that runs along the same line of thought, that you're healing or you're taking advantage of these certain states that the penis is in to make better gains. A lot of people find that after masturbation or after they have sex, after they just had an orgasm, that the penis is in a much malleable state, in a much more stretchy state. And I have to agree with that it really does feel that way. And I'm not sure exactly what it's part of. It's because of fatigue, but there's also this certain element of the way the hormones are in the body at that particular state, where just the stretches feel so much more productive. So if you happen to have that, where you just had an orgasm or you just had sex and you have the opportunity to stretch, it's a great time to get some stretching in. So there's lots of pros and cons all around the gaining and healing, and I think that the best way to get the best information on it is keeping up to date with the SRT thread. If you stay on point with that thread, you can see where my mind is going with this stuff. But so far, what SRT is all about is taking advantage of all the pros and cons that we've discovered over the past 10 years and working them into a total routine that takes advantage of the entire day and uses smart PE healing and gaining techniques that really enhance the whole process and speed the whole process, and in the end give you much better results. So I wanted us to touch points on that, and I hope that brings a greater understanding for you guys.